What really happened to Gene Deal after he exposed Diddy? For years, Gene was one of the few people willing to pull back the curtain on the powerful world of Bad Boy Records. He shared stories no one else dared to speak on, and in doing so, he became both a hero to fans seeking the truth and a target for those who wanted those secrets buried. But after dropping some of the most eye opening revelations about the night Biggie lost his life in Los Angeles, Gene's voice seemed to vanish. Why did a man who risked everything to tell his side of the story suddenly go quiet? Was it industry pressure, fear for his safety, or something even darker? Today, we're diving into the untold story of Gene Deal, his rise, his explosive claims, and the mystery surrounding his disappearance from the spotlight. Before the controversy, Gene Deal wasn't just another name floating around the hip hop scene, he was standing at the very center of it. As Diddy's personal bodyguard during the height of Bad Boy Records, Gene had a front row seat to the empire that defined 90s rap culture. He wasn't protecting just anyone. He guarded artists like the notorious Biggie, who at the time was the biggest rapper in the world. And on March 9th, 1997, when Biggie was gunned down in Los Angeles after leaving a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum, Gene was there. He later described the chaos of that night, painting a vivid picture of how everything unfolded. To many, Gene wasn't simply security, he was a witness, a man who lived through the moments that still fuel debates nearly 3 decades later. And while most people around Bad Boy stayed silent, Gene carried memories that would later haunt him and push him to break the code of silence. But when he finally spoke, it wasn't just about Biggie's final night. It was about a music empire built on power, money, and secrets. For years after Biggie's passing, Gene Deal kept a low profile. He had seen too much, and like many tied to Bad Boy Records, he knew that speaking out could come with consequences. But by the mid-2000s, something changed. Gene started appearing in interviews, and he didn't hold back. In 2016, he gave one of his first in-depth accounts, breaking down the events leading up to Biggie's last night in Los Angeles. His words were raw, emotional, and unfiltered, unlike the polished narratives the industry had pushed for years. Then, in 2019, his voice reached a much larger audience. A viral interview had him reliving those chaotic hours, describing in detail what he saw and what he believed was being hidden from the public. The response was immediate. Fans were shocked, and the hip hop community buzzed with conversation. Some praised him for his courage, while others warned that he was putting himself in danger by exposing too much. And that raises a question I'll ask you. Do you believe Gene Deal was telling the full truth, or was there even more he chose not to reveal? The more Gene Deal spoke, the more uncomfortable things seemed to get for the people he was talking about. His stories weren't vague. They were direct, detailed, and tied to one of the most powerful names in music. That kind of honesty doesn't come without consequences. Not long after his interviews started circulating, Gene began facing pushback. Around 2020, some of the podcasts and YouTube shows that had once welcomed him suddenly took down his episodes. Fans noticed entire interviews disappearing without explanation. It sparked rumors that someone behind the scenes wanted his voice silenced. There were also whispers of intimidation, that Gene was being warned to stop digging into the past. Some speculated he was being blackballed, shut out from opportunities that might have kept him in the public eye. Whether those claims were true or not, one thing was clear. The more he revealed, the more dangerous it seemed for him to keep talking. And just when people expected him to double down, something strange happened. Gene Deal's voice, once so loud and unfiltered, suddenly began to fade. By the time 2021 rolled around, something unexpected happened. Gene Deal went quiet. After years of speaking out in interviews and stirring up conversations online, his presence suddenly faded. The man who had been so vocal about the secrets of Bad Boy Records seemed to disappear from the spotlight. Fans began asking questions on forums, Twitter threads, and YouTube comment sections. Where's Gene Deal? Some pointed out that he hadn't been giving interviews like before, while others speculated that he had been forced into silence. The mystery only grew when even the smaller channels that had once featured him couldn't seem to get him back. It wasn't just his absence that raised suspicion. It was the timing. He had just reached a wider audience. His interviews were being clipped and shared everywhere, and then suddenly, nothing. To many, it felt less like a coincidence and more like something intentional. And that leaves us with the question that continues to linger. Did Gene Deal choose to walk away for his own safety, or was he pushed out of the spotlight by forces bigger than him? When someone as outspoken as Gene Deal suddenly falls silent, the theories start flying. And with Gene, the speculation has been nonstop. Some fans believe industry pressure finally caught up to him, that powerful figures made it clear he had said too much. Others suggest that Gene himself decided the risks were no longer worth it, stepping back to protect his own life and peace of mind. Then there are reports claiming his health may have been a factor, hinting at struggles that could have forced him out of the public eye. Of course, none of this has ever been confirmed. These are whispers, online debates, and theories shared among fans who followed his story closely. But the timing of his disappearance only adds to the mystery. He spoke out at the height of a renewed spotlight on Diddy, and then his voice just vanished. And that raises a question for you. Why do you think powerful figures would want him to stay quiet? Even in silence, Gene Deal's words continue to echo through the hip-hop community. Clips of his interviews still circulate online, resurfacing in 2023 and sparking renewed debates about what really happened in the 90s and who knew what behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records. His accounts gave fans a perspective they hadn't seen before, a first-hand look at the chaos, power struggles, and hidden tensions that shape some of the most infamous moments in hip-hop history. While some dismissed his claims, others viewed him as a truth-teller, someone brave enough to break the code of silence. Gene Deal may have stepped away, but his impact hasn't faded. Every new post, every resurfaced clip, reminds fans that his testimony changed the way people understand the industry and raises the question of how much more truth is still out there, waiting to be revealed. And here's something to think about. Do you think Gene Deal will ever come back with more stories, or is he gone for good? The story of Gene Deal remains one of the most mysterious chapters in hip-hop history. A man who once stood at the center of power, guarding some of the biggest names in the industry, suddenly vanished after speaking truths that few dared to share. His disappearance has left fans asking questions that may never have clear answers. Was his silence a choice, a strategic retreat from danger, or was it the result of forces that wanted him muted, ensuring certain secrets remained buried forever? Even now, years after his last public interview, the impact of his words continues to ripple. Fans still debate every detail he revealed, from Biggie's final hours in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997, to his viral interviews in 2019, and the resurfacing of clips in 2023 that reignited discussions about the hidden realities of the 90s hip-hop scene. His legacy is not just in what he said, but in how his courage encouraged people to question the stories they've been told, to look deeper, and to wonder about the unseen pressures that shape the music world. And yet, despite all the speculation, one thing remains certain. Gene Deal's story is far from forgotten. His voice may have gone silent, but the questions he raised still linger. What else does he know that hasn't come to light? Could there be more revelations waiting in the shadows? Or did he walk away permanently, taking the rest of his knowledge with him? The mystery of Gene Deal reminds us that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones left unfinished. It's a reminder that the line between truth and rumor can be thin, and that the decisions one man made to speak or to step away continue to captivate and puzzle fans decades later. If you found this story as compelling as we did, don't just sit there. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe really happened to Gene Deal? Was he silenced or did he leave on his own terms? And if you want to uncover more stories like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the secrets the music industry would rather keep hidden.